But new welfare entitlement rules began today, and with them, a test of who's reading public opinion most accurately. Tories and Labour make contradictory claims. What's behind them, of course, is a political judgment in which people aren't just deciding now whether they're better off or not, but whether other people are getting more than they should. Zoe Conway reports.
What's the plan then? We all got to stop work? Yeah.
This man knows the drill. It's time to down tools. They're needed. He's needed them. He's needed them. They've needed them.
Britain's greatest companies.
And today the Chancellor needed them. Workers. And not just any workers, hard-working workers. The perfect backdrop to a political speech.
You spend hours here working hard. You pay your taxes out of your earnings. And I want every penny of that money to be spent on the things that matter to you and your family. Over the last 3 years.
One day after a series of changes to welfare came into effect, the Chancellor didn't just treat these supermarket depot workers as an audience. It was as if he was trying to co-opt them in his argument against his critics.
And I want to take the argument to them, because defending every line item of welfare spending isn't credible. Who here who goes to work and sends money to the government in taxes thinks families that aren't working should get more than £26,000 a year? Exactly.
The reason for his location choice, whether it's a supermarket or a factory floor, is that he's looking to appeal to the people who, if you like, are on the front line of the benefits issue. Those people who, within Conservative characterisation, are walking past on their way to work the closed curtains of people on benefits. And so he's saying to them that the Conservatives are the people that can reduce the benefits bill fairly, effectively and in a trustworthy way. And it's those people that he needs to bring over to the Conservatives if he's going to win a majority in the next election.
George Osborne is confident that cutting welfare bills can be part of a successful election strategy. And that's because public opinion polls show that since the Second World War, people have become less sympathetic to the growing welfare budget. One recent poll asked people which 3 public spending areas should take the brunt of further cuts. Welfare came second to overseas aid as the area people most wanted chopped. And there are signs that welfare spending gets the least support in the south of England, with only 11% of people saying it should be protected against cuts. The south is full of key marginal seats, and yes, the location of George Osborne's visit today. The danger for George Osborne is that the Tories are viewed once again as the nasty party. That's certainly how Labour wants them to be seen.
We wouldn't be making the choices that the Chancellor is making. He's hitting some of the poorest and most vulnerable in society, but he's also hitting people who are in work as well. Now he's starting to talk about whether the minimum wage needs to be cut or frozen. It's a Chancellor who's very good at blaming everybody else, including some of the poorest in society, for the state of public finances. Hi, Sandra.
The risk for Labour is being seen as the party of the undeserving. In the days after Labour's election defeat, Ed Miliband recounted meeting a previously lifelong Labour supporter.
And he said, look, I can't vote for you because I don't feel that you've addressed the issue of the people who can work in this country but aren't. Our sense of fairness and their sense of fairness became disconnected and frayed.
But Ed Miliband's critics say that he hasn't lived up to those words, that the Labour Party's disconnect with public opinion goes on.
The reality is if Ed Miliband wants to redefine perceptions of his stance on welfare, he's going to have to actually bite on the bullet and start to signing up to, if you like, to take some of the tough medicine that George Osborne and David Cameron, the Tories, are meting out. And he's also going to have to start coming forward with policies of his own about how he will seek to reduce the welfare bill and welfare dependency that go beyond simply saying, well, we'll just get more people back into work. That's not a solution.
Before the depot staff were allowed to get back to work, they were invited to ask questions. So 4 of them did. 1 asked about jobs. 3 asked about Europe.